On the night of December 27th, 1948, the world's largest passenger aircraft, the Douglas DC-3, took off from Miami toward Florida. There were 125 passengers and 9 crew members on board, making a total of 134 people. Flying at an altitude of around 8,300 feet over the North Atlantic Ocean, the aircraft was moving steadily at a speed of 180 miles per hour. It was 8:13 p.m. In the cockpit, Captain Robert Miller and his co-pilot observed that everything was normal. But suddenly, their communication with San Juan Air Traffic Control, ATC, began to weaken. Captain Miller reported that they were facing a minor technical issue. That was his last transmission. Within just 10 seconds, the aircraft disappeared from the ATC radar forever. The last known location of the plane was right in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle. What happened that night seemed far more terrifying than a simple technical failure. The aircraft had entered a mysterious vortex in the Bermuda Triangle, something no one had ever seen or heard of before. Within moments, panic broke out inside the plane. Captain Miller tried his best to regain control, but it was already too late. The storm had completely engulfed the aircraft, tossing it around like a toy. All electronic systems, compass, radar, everything had stopped working. The plane was no longer under human control. It was being driven blindly by the force of the storm. After struggling in that deadly vortex for nearly half an hour, when the aircraft finally emerged, there was nothing but endless ocean all around. The engines were still not functioning, and the aircraft, years had passed. One morning, when the remaining 82 people on the island woke up, one of them noticed a small dot on the distant horizon. Slowly, that dot began to grow larger. It was a ship. It was a United States Navy vessel that had come searching for them. The moment they saw the ship, 9 years of suppressed pain, suffering, and waiting burst out in a flood of tears. People were shouting with joy, crying, hugging each other. They ran across the sand, yelling, "We're saved! We're saved!" When the rescue team landed on the island, they were stunned by what they saw. Those whom the world had declared dead 9 years ago were now standing right in front of them, exhausted, weak, but alive. Their return shook the entire world. It was an incredible story of human endurance and the will to survive. Families who had long given up hope of ever seeing their loved ones again were now reunited with them. The emotions of that moment were so overwhelming that they simply couldn't be put into words. In America, this story became a legend that still lives on in people's hearts. Exactly 1 year later, in 1958, the famous writer James Baldwin wrote a book based on the survivors' experiences titled Lost in the Echo. The 9-year survival of Flight NC-16002. The book became one of the bestsellers in the United States. This was not just a story. It was the painful journey of 82 souls who defeated death for 9 long years, teaching us that even the smallest ray of hope can break through the darkest of times.